I'm your host, BrightLearn, and today I've got something truly special for you. We're going to unpack an incredible conversation that recently took place on Decentralized TV with none other than Crypto Rich, a passionate advocate for decentralization, human rights, and a world where power is returned to the people. Now, if you're not familiar with Decentralized TV, it's a platform dedicated to free speech and open dialogue, hosted by Mike Adams and Todd Pittner. And let me tell you, this episode was a roller coaster of revelations, emotions, and powerful calls to action. So, buckle up as we explore the key highlights of this fascinating discussion. The episode kicks off with Mike and Todd setting the stage, discussing the current state of affairs, particularly the Trump administration's efforts to uncover corruption and the dangers of centralized power. They touch on the recent revelations about USAID funding left-wing media outlets, which Mike describes as a blatant example of how centralization breeds corruption. Enter Crypto Rich, joining the conversation from the United Kingdom. He's introduced as an advocate for decentralization and human rights, and his journey into this world is nothing short of inspiring. Crypto Rich shares that his first act of decentralization was choosing to homeschool his children, a decision he made to ensure they weren't indoctrinated by the traditional education system. This was a bold move, especially since he was the only one in his community doing it at the time. But what really sparked his interest in decentralization was Bitcoin. He stumbled upon it, bought some out of curiosity, and slowly began to understand its potential. In 2017, he started a YouTube channel to share his insights, despite not having a background in programming, IT, or finance. His channel gained traction, but it wasn't long before he faced censorship. In June 2019, YouTube deleted 160 of his videos, a clear sign of the challenges faced by those who dare to speak out. Crypto Rich's journey took a political turn during the Brexit referendum, where he voted for Brexit, aligning with his belief in sovereignty and decentralization. The COVID-19 lockdowns further fueled his activism, leading him to question the narrative and refuse to comply with measures he felt were unjust. The conversation then shifts to the state of European leadership, with Mike expressing his view that European leaders have lost their freaking minds, citing figures like Emmanuel Macron, Olaf Scholz, and the UK's Keir Starmer. Crypto Rich agrees, attributing this to the influence of the World Economic Forum and the remnants of the British Empire pulling the strings from behind the scenes. He delves into the concept of the City of London, explaining how it's the financial heart of the UK and how its reliance on insurance and foreign exchange markets, particularly the rehypothecation of gold, could lead to a significant economic downturn. Crypto Rich suggests that the Trump administration is attempting to sever ties with British Empire rule, pointing to issues with gold deliveries from the London Metals Exchange as evidence. The discussion takes a deeply personal and emotional turn when Crypto Rich shares his own experience with the loss of his first son. This tragedy, he explains, has fueled his passion for advocating against war and the mass slaughter of innocent people. He criticizes politicians who are willing to send others' children to fight wars while avoiding the front lines themselves. This leads to a fascinating discussion about a lawful tax protest in the UK, where Crypto Rich explains how individuals can withhold taxes if they believe the government is using those funds for illegal activities such as genocide or terrorism. He credits Chris Coverdale for developing this strategy, which involves using trusts to legally withhold taxes. Crypto Rich himself has used this method, successfully navigating the process without facing prosecution. He emphasizes that this approach is not about evading taxes, but about ensuring that one's money is not used for immoral purposes. The trust form he uses is a legal document that stipulates the conditions under which the funds can be used, and if those conditions are not met, the funds remain in the trust. This strategy, he argues, is a powerful tool for holding the government accountable and resisting unjust policies. The conversation wraps up with Crypto Rich urging listeners to take action, whether it's through protesting, using privacy cryptocurrencies, or educating themselves and others about the importance of decentralization. He emphasizes the need to build local networks and support each other in the fight against tyranny. As the episode concludes, Mike and Todd express their gratitude to Crypto Rich for sharing his insights and experiences. They invite him to continue the conversation and encourage listeners to explore the resources he has provided, including his YouTube channel and the website bit.ly/makewarhistory. So, there you have it, folks. An enlightening and thought-provoking conversation that challenges us to rethink our relationship with power, authority, and the systems that govern our lives. If you want to dive deeper into these topics, be sure to check out the full episode on Decentralized TV and follow Crypto Rich on his social media channels. Thank you for tuning in to BrightLearn. Until next time, keep learning, keep questioning, and keep striving for a better world.
This has been a BrightLearn.ai summary of an interview between Crypto Rich and Decentralized TV hosts Mike Adams and Todd Pittner on February 20, 2025. The full interview is available at brighteon.com, where you can also find podcasts and special reports by Mike Adams and other creators. Visit naturalnews.com for full editorial coverage of this interview and breaking news on critical stories that will keep you informed and aware of what's really going on.